So Around the Mic kind of started for us as, something where we were at a church and we decided to, hey, let's just see what this sounds like to just have a couple guitars and a couple voices around one mic, singing with the people of God, and just hear what that sounds like.
Lift you up, lift you up, lift you up, that's all.
But it also reminded us of our parents in a lot of ways. We listened to a lot of their vinyl, and that style started coming out through like when we started to scale back and be more simple in our approach to worship leadership.
It was kind of like, what would it sound like if we boiled this down to its bare essentials? What would it sound like if we just took a few instruments and the voice and coupled it with good microphones like you see behind us, and let that as an album speak for itself, and not try to cover it up with too many things, but just kind of let it breathe and let it be what it is.
Like long walks in the park. No, sorry.
And so then, no. There's nothing different.
You're not going to be in the picture.
So what do you want to do? I love the chorus one, yeah. Yeah. However you're going to do it, and then go out with it,
I'm thinking maybe more one note sort of thing. Okay.
Well, I think it kind of started as an accident too. There was like all this equipment malfunctions that were going on, and we just threw up one mic and we just got around it and started singing, and something happened. It's kind of like when I I Got a River of Life at my church, and the whole church suddenly knows how to clap in time.
Yeah.
And
right.
It's just going back to the roots of that and finding that home.
Yeah.
There's a certain element of simplicity when it's stripped down to bare bones, and it becomes about lyrics, it becomes about dynamic and Jesus. And you put that in a room with people that are excited to worship the Lord, and I just feel like it kind of feels natural to us.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not to everybody, but to us.
It always does.
Songs like He Set Me Free and There's Power in the Blood, and these kind of old gospel choruses that even when you hear general artists or blues artists are playing these old songs, and you hear them on all these old vinyl, and it got us thinking, well, what would it be like if we took some of that old gospel sound and brought it into a new place, kind of like the new old school sound. And so a lot of these songs to me sound like those old gospel choruses, and we just said, what would it be like if we kind of put our stamp on that and kind of bring that gospel feel back into church, really where it was born and where it was bred. And now you hear those songs and that style being done by people, Christian and non-Christian alike, all over America and the world.
It also reminded me of a lot of summers, Chris and I would have to go with my grandfather to nursing homes because my parents were tired of us being at home, and we'd have to sing with him. And his setup was always very simple. It was these very old familiar hymns, and you would get up there and you would sing, one guitar, and Chris and I and him, and so I feel like it it always brings me back to those summers being with my grandfather, who really taught us how to lead worship. And really the roots of what we're doing right now has been bred there through his influence. So
I like to, take this time too we did this on the home album that's also coming out on Sprig, but even with this Around the Mic record, to dedicate this to our grandfather, William McClurg, that when we wrote these songs, I could hear his voice in them and hear his smile in them, that he would be singing these songs. So Grandpa, when you see this, we just want you to know that we love you, and it's because of you and the legacy that you started through our family that we're walking in this, and that we're a part of ministry and doing music at this point in our lives. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I'll probably cry, but yeah, no, I agree. Love you, grandfather. Yeah.
Surrounded by your peace in the stillness of this night.
So along with this record kind of having an older feel, we'd always kind of thought, well, what would it be like if we could record to analog tape? And just so happened that in our neck of the woods in upstate New York here, there was a crew of people making a beautiful space and had access to a 2-inch Studer tape machine.
Yeah, so kind of partnered up and signed with Sprig a couple months back, and really excited about being able to just sort of work together. And the sound, when we first listened back to the tape, was like, wow, it's a huge difference. Growing up in Pro Tools era, really, or digital era, it was, we would just kind of stare at it as it worked. It was a lot of fun. So, I think, right, Jared?
Yeah.
You hate when it's
No, that's cool. No, from the moment, like when we first got here, walking in and meeting Peter Hopper, and just the beautiful soul that he is, and the wealth of knowledge and the passion that he brings to the table for kind of going for that old school, rootsy, simplistic sound that we were trying to capture. Like, he's been there, he's done it, and I just think it's amazing to be able to work with somebody like that,
I think the thing that stuck out to me the most is all these microphones that you see behind you. He knows exactly what each microphone does and how each microphone will enunciate the instrument that you're playing. So we would get around a microphone and we'd start going over an arrangement, and he would get his face right into the guitar and he would sit there and analyze it, and then he would look at a microphone and knew that that microphone was going to bring out the expression and the life in that instrument, which is an approach that I've never been a part of. It's you record it and then you kind of morph it into what you want it to be in Pro Tools. And this felt very indigenous and very rootsy and real to the project we were trying to make.
And the way you guys have bathed this place in prayer and soaked this in the Lord, and when we start recording and it's like, well, let's just spend a little time in prayer, and just the whole process here is different than anything we've ever done. Not that we've excluded those things, but we've worked at a number of places, and I don't think I've ever felt so unified and connected with that heart and that spirit as I think we do here.
As Paul and Silas in that jail began.
I think Sprig feels natural to us right now because of the grassroots feel that I think the model that they're taking on feels the most natural to us.
The staff here has been great, has made us feel loved and welcome, and has just embraced what we're trying to do in this season, and where we feel like God has us, in the sound that's coming out, this thing that's happening with the Around the Mic record and with the home album, both of these projects that are coming out with Sprig. There just feels like such a organic feel, not only with the records, but with the team that we're working with here. There's just a real a sense that they want to take the time to really understand what you're saying. And artists need to feel that way so that their hearts can kind of be at rest, and they can find those creative moments and that creative flow and really capture something beautiful.
And there's such a such a sense of family here. Like when people are walking through the halls and saying hello, or saying, you know, when people are leaving, it's like, all right, love you. You know, it's like there's such a spirit of family and love here. And I think it's like we've just been adopted in, and we feel like we're part of that extension of the family, which is really sweet, really special.